Get one of these working. If not, I'll just speak up till it's ready. Thank you for being such a great, responsive audience, and I see this film a lot. I go around the country on travel and show it, and I just love listening to the reaction, and especially a hometown crowd like this, with so many people I know and care about, and in a beautiful theater like this. And by the way, they're having their membership drive right now, starting today. So join Betsy and I in becoming members of Red River. I hope you'll do that if you haven't already. And just to have so many people here who also I know care deeply about humanity, and care people specifically about people with disabilities, just inclusion and civil rights and human justice in general. There's a line that really struck me tonight that I hadn't thought about before, where the teacher, well, I hadn't thought about it in this context, but the teacher says at the end in Micah's classroom, we can let differences divide us, or we can let differences be the thing that brings us together and strengthens us. I mean, no more pertinent time in the world than to think about that line. So I'm just going to invite the other panelists up, and I'll introduce you guys all in a second. Just before I do that, people often want to know what's happening with the characters in the film, so I'll give you really quick updates on the people who are in the film. Come on up, guys. Just grab a seat. I'll introduce you in a sec. So first of all, the Coopers have been extremely involved in the film. We've gone around the country together and to film festivals and to events. Chris is now in the middle of like back-to-back movies. One, Little Women, he's filming in Concord, Mass. He just filmed Mr. Rogers' biopic in Pittsburgh, and now he's doing a John Sayles movie in January. So I'm really glad I caught him during a window when he actually had some time. And he and his wife, Marianne, were incredible partners on this. And of course, Jesse was an incredible, powerful motivator for all of us on this film. Micah is doing great. He's still co-teaching classes at Syracuse. He's got that great circle of friends. He's still very engaged in the community, going to basketball games. Probably wouldn't mind me sharing, because he's shared it in public before. He and Megan broke up not too long ago. I think, Megan's a very independent young woman. She goes to college, she works, she lives on her own, but her parents have a bit of a different level of comfort than Micah's family does in terms of autonomy, and they weren't comfortable with them having a lot of unsupervised time together. Micah very much wanted to have a lot of unsupervised time together, and so it just didn't jive after a while. So anyway, but they're friends, they stay in touch. Naieer, I'm talking with Micah this week. I was speaking with Naieer and his family recently. He's taking community college classes, like Samuel at Bunker Hill Community College in Boston. And I just learned this week he's starting an 8-week course at Mass College of Art to pursue his artwork, which I'm so excited about. And so you'll see, after the event, you'll see in the hallway we have a table set up with a lot of things, including Jill's products, but also Naieer's, 2 of his prints. I don't know if any of you were at the Capitol Center for the Arts event we did, but we had an exhibit of his work, and everything sold in like 10 minutes. But luckily I had bought the Malcolm X painting and the sunflower painting from him beforehand, and made this arrangement with him, paying him a good chunk of money, that we would reproduce it as prints, and then all the proceeds go to the Henderson Art School program. So we've been sending them a couple $1,000 every month or two out of proceeds, so you can buy his prints and beautiful note cards afterwards. And then Naomie is doing great. She's at Empire Beauty School, still working, loving it. You can kind of see in the film the first job wasn't the greatest match, just trying to do math. But then they found this incredible, not only like a job where she could use her kind of tactile energy and her just positive energy, but also what a warm and inclusive and welcoming workplace. Like more than I've ever been in anywhere in this country, that Empire Beauty School. And diversity is just thriving there. So she's doing great, and her brother Steve, an amazing guy, trying to manage navigating this whole household, supporting Naomie, supporting his parents. He has a college degree, he has dreams, and he's kind of putting on hold, but he's now a direct support professional, supporting people with disabilities as a full-time job. All right, so I'm happy to answer more questions about the film, but I first want to really excited to introduce our panel. So I'm going to go from left to right and do a couple of quick introductions, and then I'm going to ask each of our panelists a couple of questions, and we'll get right into it. So on my near left is Teagan Comeau, right? They have Tyler, and Teagan Comeau. You might guess they're brothers. So their introductions, their bio I'll read real quickly before I ask them each question. There's a little overlap, or maybe a lot of overlap. They're both 20-year-old students at Franklin Pierce University who are both interested in filmmaking. They both grew up in Mansfield, Connecticut, and moved to Jaffrey, New Hampshire in summer 2015. They both identify as being on the autism spectrum, and since they were 13 years old, have been vocal advocates for disability rights, and I know their mom Jackie here has been a big part of cultivating that, I'm sure. They've both done a lot of public speaking in colleges and organizations around the Northeastern United States and in Hawaii. place I want to go someday. And then, and they are both currently part of a leadership series, which is another incredible synergy here that we have. Two leadership participants and one leadership grad. There are some differences. Tyler is working in a degree in communications with a minor in visual arts and English. And Teagan is working towards a degree in biology and also in languages. And I was talking to Teagan yesterday and told me that he's studying about a dozen languages, 4 at any given time. So pretty awesome. So welcome Tyler and Teagan first. Thank you for being here. Jill, if you're ready, I'm going to let you introduce yourself. Let me bring the mic over to you. Jillian Libby.
Hi, my name is Jillian Libby. I started my business called The Wild Bean in 2012 selling 4-inch herbs and vegetables. Then I learned how I could use the herbs that I grew to make natural products like lotions, spray and soap. We call them HMBs, handmade products. Since then, The Wild Bean does a farmer's market in Pennacook, CSA garden on the go, local crafts fair, workshop and private parties. On my personal time I love hanging out with my family, boyfriend and friends. We do lots of camping and doing things outside. I also like to go out to restaurants, theater and the movies with my friends, and love to go dancing with the ARC. I am involved with a lot of activities that keep me busy.
Great. Thank you, Jill. Everyone here okay with that? Excited until we find a better application. All right. So, all right, let's get into some questions. Tyler, you've seen the film twice now.
Yes.
So, reactions to the film. What did you relate to? What did you connect with?
So, one of the things that really stuck with me, and it's one of the major themes of the film, is the kind of antiquatedness of IQ scores and IQ testing. And it's interesting, I think it's very key that the movie shows the history of IQ scores, how it started as something with good intentions, like a test to help kids with disabilities have access to specialized services, but really quickly was used as a tool for eugenics and segregation and sterilization of thousands of people. And I think it's just sort of bizarre that our school systems and medical field use them so heavily, because I'm of the belief that was described in the film of multiple intelligences, that there are different aspects of intelligence that people don't really take into consideration.
Thank you. Would you mind sharing just a little bit about your own personal experience with IQ testing?
Right. So, yeah, when I was very young, so I'm on the autism spectrum. Even though technically, as with DSM-5, there aren't 5 subgroups, I technically have classic Cantor's autism, which means that at a very young age, I lost all my language capability. And around 3 or 4 years old, I was tested for my IQ, and the test results said that I have the mental capacity of an 18-month-old child. And I just wanted to say that in high school I retook the IQ test and I ended up with an IQ of 127. So
it jumped about 50 or 60 points.
Yeah.
In 2 years. Okay, very accurate test. So let me just mention that Forrest Beaudoin is a good buddy of mine, and I wasn't sure if you were going to make it or not, Forrest, so I'm really glad you can also join the discussion. And I'll ask you a question in a minute as well. So I'm really glad you're here. Forrest is also an amazing man, entrepreneur, businessman, so thanks for being here. Let me hop over to Teagan for a minute. Teagan, you've seen the film also a couple times. What do you connect with in the film?
Well, I mean, for one thing, I thought it was like a fantastic film. I like the different the ways it shows the way these disabled people can show their different unique ways of expressing intelligence through help.
Mm-hmm. Can I ask you a follow-up question to that? You told me a little bit about your own education. The film, Micah had a very inclusive education experience, and Naomie was completely segregated. Naieer was also very inclusive. Can you talk about your own experience with special education?
Yeah, I've been involved in multiple different special education environments, and it's been mixed. I've had some like not so great kind of like teachers and paraprofessionals, but I've also had some great teachers and paraprofessionals, and I feel like the ones who tend to like be like more open to like including me in like the education process tend to be better.
Great. I'm going to come back to you in a minute and ask you a little bit about college. So thank you very much, Teagan. Awesome. All right, let me hop over to Jill. Are you ready, Jill, to talk about kind of how you go?
Yeah.
Okay, just so you're saying you thought the movie was great and it reminds you of how your mom fought for you?
Yeah.
Awesome. So, can I know you prepared a comment too about your reaction? Could you? And her family, that's well. All right, thank you.
One of my biggest worries about meeting someone was my disability and speech. I have been in a relationship for 7 years. I have learned so much on how to be fair. Like when we go out for dinner and pay for our bill together, we learn how to read each other's body language or minds and have understood why we need balance and respect.
Thank you, Jill. Thank you so much. Let me hop back over to Forrest. Forrest, what you've seen the film twice too, right? A couple of times?
Yes.
All right. Can you tell us what stuck with you in the film, what you could relate to, any themes or people?
Yeah, well, I was involved with a Naomie chapter in this film as well for Intelligent Lives. And I remember that Naieer was a great artist, did a lot of art and had a great education, and Micah was great, and he was an amazing student through the curriculum, and Naomie, with an employee like her, is that employment is about everything. So yeah.
Speaking of employment, I didn't get a chance to talk at all about your employment. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, well, I work over at Cooper's Hill Public House in Peterborough, New Hampshire on Main Street, and I just got the job.
Congratulations. And you also you have one business going too, don't you, with your brother?
Yes, I did Best Brothers Bakery for the last summer. We've been doing Best Brothers Bakery. We've been baking gluten-free artisanal baked goods, and my mom was the general manager for that, and my brother has off to college. His freshman year at Wesleyan University. He's started through the school area in Connecticut.
Thank you. It's really good. I had the farmers market. It's delicious stuff. So thanks, Forrest. Tyler, the leadership series, a lot of it is about advocacy and training people to be future advocates. But you've been an advocate for a long time. You're 20 now, and you said it's at least since 13. How did that start? What sparked that?
Well, so initially my mom invited me to speak in front of her classes. She's an education professor, and I would just speak on my experiences as a person with disabilities, specifically autism, but also just as a disabled person in general education classrooms. And I, from there, started getting invited to other organizations, and other teachers started asking if I could speak in their classes. So like the highlights is the one in Hawaii. It helped we have family already living in Hawaii, so we were able to like get some connections there. But that was a very interesting experience. There were people from all over the country and from all over the world. And I've also spoken at the Travel Museum in Manhattan, which, if you've never been there, it's a giant ship. And they were asking to have input on making sensory-friendly environments and things like that, which, as you can imagine, in a giant battleship is a little difficult, but I was really happy to be there for that.
Is there a particular focus of your activism, a message that you always like to repeat, or something that you really care very passionately about?
Well, it's interesting because when I started, I feel like there was a lot less known about it, and I feel like people have started to learn more about it over the years, but still, like, the overall theme that we try to get across is that, you know, people with disabilities aren't, you know, very, very different from other people, but they should be accepted and should have, like, proper accommodations.
Great, thank you. And to Teagan. Teagan, you were talking to me earlier about the difference between high school and college. Can you compare it, or just talk about your experience now in college or from peers?
Yeah, there are ways where I actually prefer the like the format of college, where it's a lot more like lenient, like how you schedule your classes, and your involvement with professors can be more direct than in high school. At least I've found compared to my high school. But I mean, the workload is heavier, of course. But for me, like overall, I prefer college.
Do you feel like the students are more or less accepting of difference at freshman peers than they were in high school?
Yes. I mean, yeah.
Really? So you just don't, in what way can you describe that? Like, how do people react differently in college than they did in high school?
Well, I mean, in high school, like, a lot of the kids would, like, I mean, a lot of them would be misbehaving, which, I mean, college students misbehave, of course, too, but the environment was, like, open about it in the classrooms or in, like, the cafeteria and
Right.
stuff like that.
Got it. So it just feels like an environment where you can flourish more. Anything you want to add about college environment?
Yeah, I just wanted to say too, in high school, people tend to somehow feel more obligated to be openly mean to people. So, like, I feel like there's a lot less opportunities for, like, discrimination and things like that, definitely.
Thanks. Joe, you talked about also relating to Naomie in the film a little bit when we talked earlier. Can you share that a little bit?
Yeah. I can relate to Naomie when she was working in the beauty salon. Her story is similar, because when I started out at TJ Maxx, it was an internship. After working for 5 months, I got up the courage and talked to the manager, Chuck, all by myself, and asked if I could have a job. He said yes, and I worked at TJ Maxx for 7 years. At the same time I was working at TJ Maxx, I discovered an interest in gardening, so my support staff found us a volunteer job. That turned into an internship, and again, after learning about the greenhouses, I asked for a job. I was hired, doing both jobs for a while. Then the wild bean came to life, and I used all my skills that I had learned along the way and applying it towards my business.
Great. Thank you, Jill.